o'clock. Right. And I'm going to call the House Criminal Justice and Public Safety Committee to order, open up HB 1237 work session, and I'm going to immediately recess that till 10:30 so that the groups can meet in caucus.
reopening the work session, and really, we've determined we don't have any work to do. Per request of both sponsors, they're requesting that we dispose of the two bills we have today. So unless anyone wants to talk about those, I'm going to propose that we just close the work session and go on to start execing. Anyone want to talk? No?
Do we have to kill those?
Yeah.
We have
get-
to vote on them.
Well, no, we don't. It's a work session. I have to go into executive session on each bill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So with that, I close the work session and I open the executive session on House Bill 1237 and recognize myself to make a motion of inexpedient to legislate. I'll speak to my motion. We heard from the commissioner who asked us to dispose of the bill. They're working on something else right now. And they feel like they would rather just get rid of this and go the other route. Anyone, you want to speak to your second? Anyone, any discussion? See none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is inexpedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoid,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
the clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy, 12-0.
Any objection to consent? Seeing none, I'll go on consent. I close the executive session. Next, I open the executive session on House Bill 1510 and recognize myself to make a motion. I move inexpedient to legislate. I think, okay. I'll speak to my motion. We have heard from the parties involved that they would prefer that this bill be found inexpedient to legislate as unnecessary. And who seconded that? Representative Shear, would you like to speak to second? No. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is inexpedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yep.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoid,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
the clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0, motion carries. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, we'll go on consent, and I close the executive session. Next, let me see, hold on a second. I am going to open the executive session on House Bill 1048 and recognize myself to make a motion. I move ought to pass. Seconded by Representative Prue. I'll recognize myself to speak to my motion. This has become a perennial favorite. It comes once a year, and my same argument applies. I don't necessarily feel that, I don't know anyone that wants to own one of these devices, but I don't understand why they would be prohibited. We can have guns, we can have electronic weapons, we can have chemical weapons, but we can't have this piece of iron. The fact that a brass knuckle can destroy an orbital socket, notwithstanding, I move ought to pass. I want to speak to your second, Representative Prue.
I agree with you. I can carry a gun. This is, to me, is a less lethal protection that gives me an option other than a gun. So I think it's a win. And if people don't see that, I'm really sorry.
Yeah, we'll see this again next year, I'm sure. Representative Muse, I'm sure you would like to speak. Oh, you got this one? Yes. Oh, wow. What a change up. I like it.
Well, I was going to say, I have supported this bill in the past, but I do feel like Groundhog Day. Like, I just feels like a little bit of a waste of time. I don't know why the Senate is hung up on this, but I think maybe the sponsors should figure that part out before, criminal justice execs this for the 16th time next year.
This year he swears he did, but we'll see. Yeah. Any further discussion? Yeah, now you do. Okay.
So somehow this winds up usually being more than just a perennial bill. Usually we wind up seeing it once in our committee and again on the House floor, and then it kind of has its way of boomeranging back sometimes. But the bottom line is from my perspective, nothing has changed, which is why I'm going to oppose the bill. I think one of the things that was a little bit different about our public hearing this time was the state police gave neutral testimony, but it was among the least neutral testimonies I think I've ever heard on a bill. They testified that it can turn an altercation into a fatality, that there are less lethal alternatives available to people, and that these items are clearly intended to inflict bodily injury. Other objects, things like pipes and screwdrivers, have other purposes. These objects have one purpose, and that's to maim and to injure. So I'll be opposing it, and we'll see you on the floor.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Absolutely.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Chenier,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman.
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Shear. No. Chairman Roy.
Gerald's yes.
7-5.
7-5, motion carries. And reports, same thing, please get them to me next week, this week, no later than Sunday.
Who's going to write the minority?
They don't know yet. It'll probably be Representative Muse, but I'll find out. With that, I close the executive session. Before I open the next one, do you have an amendment on 1051? Did you work on that? We did? I thought we did too. Well, I thought was there another bill to do with cameras on the school buses?
Yes.
What was that?
This was the second one, wasn't it? We only did 1 out of 2.
Which one did we pass? 1537. That's the one that's still out there? We haven't dealt? 1537? Oh, we didn't execute yet. Okay. Okay. So does this one, this is the one that this creates a commission. Did we pass the one? Remember?
Double check my.
Yeah. You met and got an amendment. I'm opening the executive session on House Bill 1051. I recognize Representative Murray to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move ought to pass and adoption of Amendment 0711H.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, please. Thank you. So this legislation originally created a commission to study how we could simplify the process for fingerprinting for certain not employees, contractors, including service providers who often have to work within different school districts and therefore have to get fingerprinted multiple times in every school district. So rather than institute a commission to study this issue, the amendment proposes a solution to the issue, which was worked out with the Department of Education, state police, and other stakeholders.
Thank you. Representative Prue, would you like to speak to your second?
No, thank you.
Thank you. I'll just say that I'm glad that we were able to work together on this. When someone proposes a study commission As the subject matter experts, we're able to look at it and quickly resolve the issue without need of forming a study commission, all the better. So I'm very pleased that we're able to do this. So with that, I'll ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is to adopt the amendment.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier?
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright?
Yes.
Representative Muse?
Yes.
Representative Newman?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear?
Yes.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0, the amendment is adopted. I recognize Representative Murray to make a motion.
I move ought to pass as amended.
Second. Oh, you can have it.
Seconded by Representative Scher. Any further discussion? Seeing none, ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is OTPA.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier?
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright?
Yes.
Representative Muse?
Yes.
Representative Newman?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear?
Yes.
Chairman Roy? 12-0.
12-0. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, we'll go on. Wait a minute, does it have fiscal note? No, it's the amendment, so it'll go on consent. That I close the executive session. Do you have that amendment? It was, yeah, it was Representative Cruz. There you go. That's first. What's next? 12:30. I had 12:39. You have 12:37?
We already did 12:37.
Yeah. And this one is whatever, probably, okay. I open the executive session on House Bill 1239. Recognize myself to make a motion. I move ought to pass.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Prue. I recognize myself to speak. This is a bill that deals with registered sex offenders loitering in areas that are frequented by children. There was some disagreement between some of us with regard to, first of all, a church being listed, and second of all, whether or not it actually fell under loitering and prowling was necessary, or if that was the necessary triggering offense before this occurred. I still believe that the way it's in there, it would only apply if there were loitering or prowling in those areas. If a registered sex offender as a level 2 or tier 3 under RSA 651.5. And with regard to the church portion of it, a person attending church would not be affected by this. They would have to be committing the loitering or prowling. And under circumstances that would warrant alarm. So going to church would not do that. And if it were considered that if they were going to church violated this, it would be clearly unconstitutional on its face. Ergo, they would have to assume that it's not the legislative intent. So we're going to go ahead and vote OTP on this. Further discussion. Representative Scher.
As I articulated last time we talked about this, I disagree with the chair. I don't think there predicate to meeting this new paragraph 1-A is that there's already been a finding in some way of loitering or prowling. I just don't think it reads that way. I think the second, I think line 7 through 10, the A through D, I think it's too broad, and what we end up doing is reducing the ability of a registered sex offender to go outside, and I think it comes too close to something like that, and therefore I'm going to oppose the OTP.
Thank you. Further discussion. Seeing none, ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier?
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright?
No.
Representative Muse?
No.
Representative Newman?
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Shear?
No.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
7-5.
7-5, motion carries. Again, reports by Sunday, please. Thank you. I close the executive session. Huh? Oh. What's next? All right. We have the numbers anyway.
Yeah.
1364. I open the executive session on, hold on a second. I need to know what it is. Oh. Oh, okay. I open the executive session on House Bill 1364 and recognize myself to make a motion. I move inexpedient to legislate. Seconded by Representative Prue. I'll recognize myself to speak to my motion. This requires quarterly reports from counties, municipalities, other political divisions in the state with regard to certain agreements about immigration. This is, again, a bill seeking to get information regarding immigration. I believe it's a politically motivated bill. I don't know what we would do with this information. I don't understand why it would be necessary for the state to get this information when it's already available via Freedom of Information requests. And I feel it's an attempt to undermine the cooperation of the counties with immigration, and that's the sole purpose of it. Would you like to speak to your second?
Oh, thank you. You did a nice job.
Thanks. Further discussion. Representative Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess first I'd like to say I am disappointed by this motion because this is almost identical to a bill that we've passed out of this committee unanimously like 3 times in the past, just in relation to the 287G agreements as opposed to the Northern Border Alliance. I don't think collecting data is ever really a bad thing, but also part of the impetus for this was my experience in county and trying to make decisions about the budget and other programming without having this information and having a hard time getting this information from our county sheriff. So by mandating that this be reported by statute, it ensures that on the county level that we would be able to access this data in a timely manner and not have to do FOIA requests after the fact, because we didn't have this information when we needed it when we were voting on the budget and stuff. So anyway, that's about it. I will be voting against the ITL motion.
Thank you. I don't remember hearing you say that before, though. I might not have been here with regards to the county issue. I'm curious, though, the county, when they do the budget, how does your sheriff work? I mean, he doesn't present a detailed budget?
For Hillsborough County this past time, we have requested information around like how much the county has been spending or how much time or what, literally anything related to this program, and the sheriff has declined to give us that information.
Thank you. That being said, it's interesting, but I don't know that this is the solution. Going an end around, I feel like it would be the county commissioners' jobs to hold the sheriff accountable. But I'd be interested in hearing more after. In the meantime, the motion on the floor is inexpedient to legislate, and I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. Oh, you still want to speak? Representative Scher, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the same problem. There's been the same problem in Rockingham County. They have a 287G agreement, and that I want to know how much time, how much work they're doing that's ICE related as opposed to county business, and they've declined to provide that information. Number one.
Yeah.
Number two, good luck getting any of this information either through a FOIA request or 91A request. None of those have been successful to this point.
What has the court's response been when you go to them with the complaint that they're not honoring?
It hasn't gotten to, there's certain timelines that are still being played
Okay,
out.
good. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. He's going to go, so go ahead.
Just the last point I'd make with the FOIA is, I mean, I haven't gotten to that point yet, but it's also just the timeliness of the data. Like, if I can go and get the data after we're voting on something, that's not helpful for informing my vote and, negotiation on the county level. And I think that's kind of what at least I'm trying to solve, is making sure that we have that data when we need it and aren't having to FOIA request. And in my opinion, that's what's kind of going around, what should be the ideal procedure for this.
Thank you. With that, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is an expedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
No.
Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman.
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Shear,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
7-5.
7-5, motion carries. I close the executive session. Representative Scheer, if you could talk to me after and give me a list of what you want from the sheriff, I'm going to try and get it. With that, we're going to take, how long do you think you need, 15?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take 20 minutes. Yeah, if they're behind, just come back and let me know.
And have somebody call you when they're ready for you.
Yeah. No, he's going to introduce it on schedule right now. He'll find out. We're going to take 15 minutes right now, and we'll see where we stand when we get back. Okay.
Give me the ones that we've done.
Yeah. This one?
Yep.
Is this yours?
Yes, I believe it is.
I've got Scrooge McDuck's amendments here. I don't know why. I have a stack of these. This is your adopted. You adopted something? 14. We still got the number. on House Bill 1367, establishing the crime of offensive doxing. I recognize myself to make a motion. I move ought to pass. Seconded by Representative Murray. I will recognize myself and speak to my motion. This bill is very, for the most part, straightforward. Having read it and talked to some people, there's a couple minor things that could be tweaked, but nothing worth derailing the bill over or that will cause big problems. What is causing problems, however, is people, this goes with another bill I filed as well. The First Amendment is worthless if only the government is prohibited from harassing you. And our founders, I don't think, contemplated the internet and people being able to organize and attack someone in a mass kind of way, in such a way that makes their family in danger, is not what is not what was contemplated by free speech. I cannot believe that would have been allowed, and no one could have predicted it. But what is happening is we've become so fractioned in this country that people are organizing in kind of like, almost like they used to with the hanging mobs, but instead it's electronic. And they organize and they find someone's address, they find someone's school their children go to, and they post it online and say, go get them. And all of a sudden there's horrible things happening. They're being, their homes being vandalized. There's threats coming in. It's just, we need to do what we need to do to stop this before it gets more and more violent. And people need to check themselves, and if we need a law to do that, so that they realize, okay, that is against the law to actually put someone in danger like that, perhaps we can stop this. Would you like to speak to your second, Representative Murray?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you stated it very well. And I think, doxing is becoming a serious problem that we really don't want to encourage. And I think this is something that definitely impacts a lot of young people. And yeah, I support the OTP motion.
Thank you. Further discussion. Representative Scher.
I support this. I think next year, or maybe it's a floor amendment. If you look at lines 29, 30, and on page 2, line 1 and 2, there's a weird mix of the mental state of recklessly and acting with intent. It's a weird mix. That's easily fixable either with a floor amendment, or we can do that next year. But I'm in support.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. And I would suggest that we get it out of the House if we can, and then approach the Senate about fixing that language if you feel it's necessary. Representative Muse.
Yeah, I'll also support it because I do think it gets us closer to where we need to be. What I would have liked to have seen during the public testimony, or what I would have liked to have heard, would have been testimony from the media, whether there's anything in there that they think or they believe could preclude normal reporting activities, things of that nature. I also want to point out something that is missing from the bill, and that's doxing with the intent of causing intentional economic injury to a person. And by that, I mean going after a person through their employer and through their employment. I don't think it's worth not supporting the bill for, but it's definitely worth considering, because it's something that we're seeing a lot in this environment too. And I think we've seen it from both sides of the political spectrum. And when it happens, it has a huge impact on people's lives. And what it amounts to is, the people on the internet becoming judge and jury, which is what we're trying to prevent too. So perhaps I might join Representative Scher in maybe trying to create a floor amendment that does that, but I don't think I don't want to hold up the bill.
Thank you. Representative Scher.
And I think that can be fixed with a definition of the word harm. That
Absolutely. Yeah,
should be
significant harm. Okay. Seeing no further discussion, I ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gothright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0. Any objection to consent? It would pull it off consent. What would happen, I think, right?
But I think,
I can leave it off. That's fine. If you're gonna,
sorry.
okay, you can decide if you want to do a floor amendment. If I leave it off, you don't have to, but I still recommend doing it in the Senate, but okay. With that, I close the executive session. I don't have any comment. With that, I open the executive session on House Bill 1423 and recognize myself to make a motion of ought to pass.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Prue. I'll speak to my motion. This deals with a similar subject matter. Again, this is a Representative Ammon's bill that talks about threatening harm to public servants or their immediate family. We had to extend to their immediate family because people's family members are being threatened. This is in the in the improper influence statute. And the difference is it's about influencing a person's actions in their official position, as an elected official or otherwise, and threatening their family or their domestic partner. We've expanded the definition quite a bit to with the intent to influence their official actions. And again, this is happening across the country. The internet is being used for horrible purposes, and I think it's our job to keep up with technology as it enables criminals, and that's what people who do these things are, to extend their threatening from person to person now to be able to reach across sometimes the world, but definitely across the country, to threaten and influence people in our state. And these people that do it sometimes aren't even from our state, and they rouse other people up to follow them, and it's dangerous. So for that reason, I would ask you to support my OTP motion. Would you like to speak to your second?
I agree with you. We need some deterrent from public officials getting threatened, and I think this will be helpful.
And I would just add that this isn't just threatening them, it's threatening them with the purpose to influence an official action. Representative Scheer.
I appreciate and support the principle. I just can't vote for anything that includes a mandatory minimum sentence. I'm not sure there's a reason for this particular crime as opposed to others to have a mandatory minimum. So I'm going to oppose the ought to pass. 1423.
Yeah, it does have a minimum. It says any person convicted under some paragraph 1A of this section shall be sentenced to a mandatory minimum term of imprisonment for not less than 1 year for each separately charged public servant, party official, voter, or immediate family member who was threatened, and a mandatory minimum fine of not less than $1,000 for each separately. The minimum mandatory penalties under the paragraph shall not apply separately for each individual threatened, shall not be suspended or reduced. Oh, shall apply, excuse me. And shall not be suspended or reduced, shall be served consecutively with multiple victims, shall preclude eligibility for parole until the mandatory minimum term has been served. The difference in this and other minimum mandatories that is worthy of note is that this is it's 1 year. And now it can add up quick if a person goes on a spree and starts threatening other people. But it's 1 year for each person they threaten or try to intimidate with the purpose of changing a person's official action. So it's not just that they threatened you, it's they threatened you to get you to vote or not vote or do something that you would not otherwise do. So someone threatening you or your family because they just don't like Republicans or Democrats is not what the statute this statute covers. This covers people who are threatening you, saying, you vote for this and you're going to get this, or if you voted a certain way. Actually, I don't even think past voting would count because it's to influence. So, Representative Murray.
I agree with my friend from Portsmouth. I really support the intention of this bill. If it just add an immediate family member, I would definitely be supporting it. But it is around this mandatory minimum section. Like, I come from a family of 7. Like, someone could go to jail for almost a decade if they said something about me and my immediate family, which has happened. And I just think that's way too much time. But I do understand that this is trying to address a very real problem. I just wish we were amending the statute instead of expanding it so much.
Thank you. Again, I would point out what happened. You probably wouldn't cover under this unless they were saying you should vote this way and then they threaten you. It's only if they do it with the intent to influence, I believe. Anything further? Seeing nothing further, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier?
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright? No. Representative Muse?
No.
Representative Newman?
No.
The clerk votes no. Representative Shear?
No.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
7-5.
7-5, motion carries. I close the executive session. Why though, do you know? Yeah. Hey.
We said put a pin in it. So we
Yeah, I'm trying to remember why criminal offense, possession of firearm, court order requiring surrender. Yeah, this was the one that Judge Lynn. That was my original. I open the executive session on House Bill 1408, and I recognize Representative Murray to make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to motion OTP and adoption of Amendment 0802H.
Second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. This amendment seeks to address some concerns that were raised by the county and insurance industry to ensure that some of the information that's available publicly right now and is a part of their roles as our local government officials is not considered a crime under this new statute. And that's about it.
Well said. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is to adopt the amendment.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright, Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0, the motion, the amendment is adopted. I recognize Representative Murray to make another motion.
My motion ought to pass as amended.
I second. Further discussion? Can you tell us what the bill does overall now as amended?
The bill now overall as amended creates a new misdemeanor for elected officials who intentionally dox their constituent for the purpose of intimidating them or causing them harm. And like I said, the amendment just ensures that officials who are just conducting their jobs when publishing some of this information are not caught up in crimes.
So for illustrative purposes, if I were to take one of my constituents who wrote me a mean email and responded by posting their home address, their phone number, and requesting other people to harass them, I would be guilty of this offense.
Yes.
Sounds good to me. Further discussion? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is OTPA.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier?
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright? Representative Muse?
Yes.
Representative Newman?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear?
Yes.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
Any objection to consent? Seeing none, we'll go on consent, and I close the executive session. Although it has to be open next Friday. I'll have to see, 1537. Oh, this is the bus, camera bus. This is good now?
We didn't amend, the other one was amended, this one was amended, but I still feel this one supports that.
Do you want? Okay, I'm opening the executive session on House Bill 1537. I recognize Representative Murray to make a motion.
I motion ought to pass.
A second. Would you like to speak to your motion?
I think this bill is supportive to another bill that we passed around ensuring that school buses are able to use high resolution cameras in order to capture images of people who are driving past them when the stop sign is out, which is a big problem in Manchester and I'm sure other localities in our state. And I think this is one area where we definitely need to be empowering the school bus drivers and school districts to do whatever they can to keep students safe when they're going on and off the bus.
Thank you. I'm going to show my age. Actually, Representative Scheer might remember this better. What was the movie we used to have to watch in school, Blood on the Highway? Do you remember that? Yeah, no, that goes way back to, and it just shows, yeah. It goes to show you how long this has been a problem. And now that we have,
Must have been
The-
before my time.
no, you might not have seen it. I don't know. We, it goes back before me, I think.
Too young.
Yeah. Yeah. You remember it? Yeah. But in all seriousness, this is a serious problem. And now that we have the technology to be able to stop and catch people who do it, I think it's appropriate. Further discussion? Seeing none, ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschenier,
Yes.
Representative Harry Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, we'll go on consent. I close the executive session. Up next, House Bill 1552. I open the executive section and I recognize myself to make a motion and I move inexpedient to legislate. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second. Yeah, it was.
Because I was going to go the other way, but
Think we
Apparently not.
we did discuss this. This is with regard to restraining orders or protective orders, and it's requiring a victim to sign under the pains and penalties of perjury when they make their statement, and then it would punish them accordingly if they make a false statement. We already have statutes on the books that cover false statements. If someone gives a false statement on any sworn document, they can be charged. adding this, I'm worried it would have a chilling effect on victims. If they would worry that, if the person could get some of their friends to say that that was false, that they could be charged, they could be intimidated. I just don't think we should be putting barriers to protecting victims up as much as we should be enabling them. Certainly not to the expense and constitutional rights of someone accused, but putting this extra penalty on someone who's just initially coming forward, in my mind, would intimidate them and scare them from coming forward when when they're already terrified and scared. It can be dealt with already under statute if it turns out that was false. I don't think adding this up in their face right when they're first signing that form is necessary. Representative Murray. Oh, did you want to speak to a second?
I'm good.
Okay, Representative Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think you spoke to that very well. And I think the only thing I'd add is that this almost treats domestic violence victims as if they're somehow less trustworthy than other victims because there are not the same kind of stipulations we're putting in place for victims of other crimes. It's just domestic violence victims.
Agreed. Further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is inexpedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschonier?
Yes.
Representative Gathright?
No.
Representative Muse? Representative Newman?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear?
Yes.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
11-1.
Do you object to consent, Representative? No. Seeing none, it will go on consent. I close the executive session. With that, I'll open the executive session on House Bill 1651 and recognize myself to make a motion. Huh? That's what I'm doing. Okay. Were you gonna? And I move adoption of amendment number 20260139H,
Second.
seconded by Representative Murray. This amendment, it seems like it's a technical amount. Just first of all, bear with me. I'm doing this on behalf of Representative Rhodes, who couldn't be here today. This amendment it's replacing section 1 with the following: notwithstanding 59410, any law enforcement officer shall arrest without warrant any person that the officer has probable cause to believe has violated the provisions of this section when the offense occurred within 12 hours, regardless of whether the crime occurred in the presence of the officer. Representative Murray, would you like to speak to your second?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Further discussion? Yes. We are on 1651, and we're dealing with the amendment. Seeing no further discussion, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is to adopt the amendment.
Representative Mannion?
Yes.
Representative Prue?
Yes.
Representative Hemingway?
Yes.
Representative Devoyd?
Yes.
Representative Paquette?
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschonier?
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright?
Yes.
Representative Muse?
Yes.
Representative Newman?
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear?
Yes.
Chairman Roy?
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0, the amendment is adopted. I recognize myself to make a motion, and I move OTPA. Seconded by, I don't know who, I couldn't tell. That was a close one. I'll speak to my motion. This bill creates a new section of law in our domestic violence laws with regard to sexual assault and related offenses, and provides for a sexual assault protective order by inserting the necessary language. So someone who's been assaulted sexually can now, under this bill, would be able to get a protective order against her or his or her attacker to allow them to remain safe, hopefully, until the case gets brought to trial. Would you like to speak to your second, whoever Representative Murray?
I think the only thing I'd add is that I think this bill also addresses some concerns that were mentioned in another bill around expanding the definition of intimate partner in this bill kind of addresses the concerns that were the underlying cause for that bill without expanding that specific definition too much. So I think honestly, this will accomplish a lot of things for a lot of people, and I'm very excited to pass this bill.
Thank you. Further discussion? Seeing none, I'd ask clerk to call the roll. The motion is OTPA.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright, Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
the clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0. Any objection to consent? Does it have a fiscal note?
Yeah.
It does. Is
We
it,
can try.
is it more than $10,000? I think that's the
consent and we'll pull it off if they need to.
Yeah, that's what I've always done. I'm waiting to get in trouble for that. There being no objection to consent, I close the executive session. Next up, 1696. I recognize myself to make a motion, and I move ought to pass. Seconded by Representative Prue. I'll speak to my motion. This is, again, I'm speaking for Representative Rhodes, who couldn't be with us today, with regard to summons instead of arrest in any case which a peace officer has probable cause to believe that a person has committed a misdemeanor violation. They can issue a handwritten summons in lieu of arrest. This shall not apply if the peace officer has probable cause to believe that the person has committed abuse. And I believe that's where this bill changes the current law. Also, let me see, upon failure to appear, any person who fails to appear and answer for such summons or fails to remain in good behavior, this is actually the key piece. This is where an officer chooses to issue a hand summons instead of arresting someone. Currently, if that happens, there's no penalty for someone. Like if they were arrested and had to be bailed, they would be ordered to remain in good behavior while they were out on bail. The officer currently sometimes may choose to do that just so that person can be ordered to good behavior until their case is brought to trial. Now, and this would allow the officer to do the same thing by issuing a hand summons and not arresting the person, allowing them to keep their freedom, allowing them to keep their job, allowing them not to have their photograph in the paper, but ordering that they behave themselves while they're out, pending them going to court for the charge. I think this is a good bill, and with it kind of finishes the circle on what we did on bail reform by allowing people to be summoned and still be ordered to be good behavior. Who seconded that?
That would be me.
Representative Prue, would you like to speak to your
So
second?
I agree with you, and I think the officer is giving someone a break, but they should respect that break by having them have good behavior. So I think that's a pretty good give and take, and I support this bill.
Thank you. Further discussion. Representative Scher.
I oppose this bill for a couple of reasons. One, when somebody is bailed and one of the requirements is be of good behavior, the bail commissioner or the judge explains to them what good behavior means. A summons, you get a piece of paper. There's no explanation about what good behavior means, so it's a trap. Number one. Number two, there already is a penalty for someone who summons and doesn't show up for court. There's a penalty for that, and failing if they engage in a lack of good behavior as defined by Roman numeral 4, they're going to be charged with that anyway, that crime anyway. So it really is. I view this as simply a piling on statute that really sets somebody up for an extra misdemeanor without really appreciating what good behavior means.
Thank you. Further discussion. Seeing none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
the clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
No.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
11-1.
Okay,
No objection to consent.
thank you. There being no objection to consent, I'll go on consent, and I close the executive session. I open the executive session on House Bill 1699 and recognize myself to make a motion, and I move inexpedient to legislate.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Prue. I'll speak to my motion. I believe this is along the same lines of the other bill that would have enabled the carrying of a loaded firearm on a ATV, and now we're dealing with boats. We heard from the Fish and Game that this would be a dangerous bill, and that they themselves don't carry loaded firearms on boats except for their sidearms, and that's already legal here. This is the same thing. It's very dangerous to carry a loaded firearm on a vehicle where it's not necessary to do so. You have the Second Amendment right to have your sidearm on you and loaded for personal protection purposes. You have the right to carry a firearm with you, a long gun with you on the boat. You just can't have a round chambered, and to do so is just dangerous. And I can't, for the life of me, understand why you would want to do that. When, in the case of an AR-15, if you have a magazine in the chamber, you can chamber around in less than a second. Why do you have to boat around with that round in the chamber? I didn't hear testimony that would convince me it's necessary or would be absolutely covered under the Second Amendment. This is clearly a safety issue. And if you're on a lake like some of our bigger lakes in the state, a round could travel all the way across the lake and hit someone playing on the beach. Because you happened to hit a speedboat's wake and didn't see it, and your rifle went off. So I don't like it. Representative Prue, would you like to speak to your second?
No.
Thank you. All right, thanks. Representative Murray.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The only thing I'd add is that it also redefines loaded, which I think is a problematic part of the bill as well. So I will be supporting the ITL motion.
Further discussion? Seeing none, I ask clerk to call the roll. Did you want to speak, Representative Means? I thought you had your hand twitching like you were. Okay.
Actually, I'll make
Oh,
one
yes,
comment.
Representative
So-
Shaborn Deschanel. Yeah.
So I want to, I believe I remember law enforcement being present, actually appreciating the redefined definition of loaded. With that being said, as written, this bill would actually require people to unload their firearms as a boat accelerates and creates a wake, and we just don't need that.
And again, if you hit someone else's wake, you can't prepare for that. There's no way to prepare for that. So you can unload yours per this bill before you get to wake speed. But if you're going along under wake speed and hit another person's wake, you're going to bounce several feet in the air. It's just dangerous. Thank you. There being no further discussion, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is expedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschonier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright,
Yes.
Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
12-0.
12-0. Any objection to consent? There being none, I will go on consent. I hereby close the executive session. Okay, what do we have left? Let's do a quick 10-minute break while we get our stuff together. If we have anything left, I think that's almost last of our bill. And then I've already canceled Friday. I'm gonna cancel Monday. And we don't need to come back again, right, as of right now, until crossover. So enjoy your vacation. The people who've been here a while shouldn't be surprised because we usually crank through our stuff, so we have a few weeks off. And with that, let me see, 1454, which one, is that the new gun crime one? Okay, I'll start with that. I'm going to open the executive session on House Bill 1454. Recognize myself for a motion of inexpedient to legislate.
Second.
I'll speak to my motion. This bill appears to create a new crime if you possess a firearm after you've been ordered not to possess firearms under an order, a protective order by the court. As of right now, that is already a crime. It would be a contempt of court for not following the judge's order. And I wonder if it wouldn't also be violation of a protective order. Yeah, so it's already, I'm not really understanding why we would possibly need this. And there being doubt, we should never create new criminal laws if there's any doubt as to why. So would you like to speak to your second, Representative Prue?
No, I think you covered it.
Thank you. Further discussion? Do you read that the same way, Representative Scher? I mean, is it necessary?
It's not necessary. Plus, it just adds the second part of it, just adds to the long laundry list of things where in bail that we created, and it's just really not necessary.
Agreed. Okay. With that, I'd ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is expedient to legislate.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright, Representative Muse,
No.
Representative Newman,
No.
Representative Murphy,
Yes.
the clerk votes yes. Representative Shear,
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
11-2.
11-2. It can't go on consent with two, or maybe it can, but do you wish to object to consent, Representative Muse? You can have a lot to speak about anyway. Okay, so we'll not go on consent, and I close the executive session. Motion carries ITL. I open the executive session on House Bill 1522 and recognize Representative Murray to make a motion.
I move ought to pass.
I second that motion. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yes, thank you. I think this legislation is going to take a very important step in protecting people from domestic violence, particularly as it relates to both coercive control and also disseminating someone's photos without their consent. And so, again, I think this is adding on to a lot of the good work we've done on domestic violence this year. I'm very excited to pass it.
Thank you. And I concur with everything you said. And I also, for other reasons, I'm aware of a person who she has cancer. It's not in remission, but it's stable. And her husband would set the temperature in her house to like 50 degrees every morning when he went to work. And it would turn up to a comfortable 68 when he would get home. She was not allowed to touch the heat. That's coercive control. When there's women who are made to only have one meal a day, their calories are controlled, made to eat out of dog bowls, all kinds of horrific things that aren't illegal. And if she was able to call the police, they couldn't do anything because being a monumental jerk is not a crime. It goes a step further than a monumental jerk. It's controlling someone's very existence, cutting off them, their friends and family, controlling their access to basic needs. So I think this is a great step forward for victims of domestic violence. And it doesn't in any way that I could see put a burden on defendants who are presumed guilty. It just allows them to get an order of protection for these things, and everyone gets their day in court. So any further discussion? Seeing none, I ask the clerk to call the roll. The motion is ought to pass.
Representative Mannion,
Yes.
Representative Prue,
Yes.
Representative Hemingway,
Yes.
Representative Devoyd,
Yes.
Representative Paquette,
Yes.
Representative Saborn Deschwanier,
Yes.
Representative Harriet Gathright, Representative Muse,
Yes.
Representative Newman,
Yes.
Representative Murphy.
Yes.
The clerk votes yes. Representative Shear.
Yes.
Chairman Roy,
Chair votes yes.
13-0.
15-0. Any objection to consent? Seeing none, it will go on consent. I close the executive session. we are done for the day and for, I think, hopefully a couple weeks. Enjoy your vacations. Yeah, it's gonna be. Let me know. If something pops up, I'm gonna blame Brad. And if we have to come back, just, I'm prepared to come back with an infill sub. Thank you again for the use of your.